Got big news for Stellar XLM and Ripple XRP fans as both ecosystems get a very juicy announcement. Bank of America says, screw our friends, we're gonna roll solo. We'll talk price action along with
lots of naughty things, so here's your warning.
Along with exposing an XRP lie that you need to see because they want you to sell. But before we get into the hot crypto news today, that's right, Stellar, Ripple fans, I got it for you both. We do your comments because you, the viewer, matter most. Paul09 says, I'm not feeling the difference between the SEC with Gensler gone. Seems like maybe Gary wasn't the problem. Maybe the SEC itself is corrupt. This has to do with the HBAR ETF filing that was delayed yet again. It seems like the SEC is doing its same delay strategy. John D, that's John D2X says, pretty sure most of those Switch 2s ended up on eBay from people to scalp and trying to make a quick buck. Yeah, but people are buying them. There were tons of people out there that said, yo, I'm never getting a Switch 2. And then they ended up getting one. I didn't. I ended up building like a mega PC so I could be Grand Theft Auto Day 1 ready, baby. Oh, and I've been playing some Tarkov lately. Eric Lester says, melting faces, grown men will cry and Pocahontas will spoil her depends. That's right. Every turn on Twitter, otherwise known as DGen World, tells you grown men will cry, melting faces. Well, what about this? Bitcoin sitting at 109,703, ETH is 2862. ETH slowly inching its way up to 3,000. Are you paying attention? Sol at 166. XRP at 232, while XLM's at 28.1. All right, Bank of America's yes. Yo, screw our banking friends. We'll do it on our own. Remember about a month and a half ago where Bank of America said, yo, we're going to work together with our friends to come up with a group stablecoin? Well, Bank of America is reportedly launching its own stablecoin. This isn't the first time the first firm has teased such plans. In March, they claimed that they had no choice but to launch a stablecoin. Now, they're saying, guess what? We got to do it ourselves. Why? Because times are changing and banks need a more efficient way of moving money. So, Bank of America making their own stablecoin? I wonder what kind of yield they would offer on that. Probably not much, as Bank of America sucks. All right, let's get right into the XLM Stellar news. PayPal CEO breaks the silence on Stellar's XLM milestone. What happened? Well, they're integrating PayPal's PYUSD on the Stellar chain. In a significant move for blockchain adoption and stablecoin utility, PayPal's CEO has officially acknowledged a key milestone in the company's dollar-pegged stablecoin expansion. PYUSD, PayPal's USD, is set to launch on the Stellar network pending regulatory approval. This is what they said. PYUSD is coming to Stellar, reaching a broader group of developers and unlocking new opportunities for the stablecoin. More blockchains, greater access, and they're not stopping now. Meaning they're going to launch PYUSD on a bunch of different chains. PayPal confirmed this in an official release, saying that PayPal PYUSD will soon be available on the Stellar network, waiting for the New York Department of Financial Services, the state regulator. Interesting. This marks a significant expansion for PYUSD because it is now going past Ethereum and Solana. That's where it was launched before. Now it's on Ethereum and Solana. Oh, by the way, here's that press release. PayPal Stellar. You want to read this? You want to read all the juice? It's actually a pretty good read. You can read it in the description down below with everything else you see in this video. All right. Now, let's debunk some XRP news that they're trying to do to get you to sell, and then we're going to talk about good XRP Ripple news. Binance debunks reports of XRP withdrawal suspensions amid community concerns. Uh-oh. The confusion began when a few community members reported on X that withdrawals were suspended on Binance, and they even shared screenshots of the crap showing it. Your withdrawal is being processed at Ripple's networks is suspended at the moment. These are what the screenshots look like, okay? Bunch of them were circulating on DGen World, better known as Twitter, better known as X, better known as, I don't know, but Twitter is wild. Follow me on Twitter. It's linked in the description below. Either way, Binance has come out and said, yo, none of this is true. However, Binance has since clarified the situation. A spokesperson for the exchange told Crypto News that the latest reports are false, asserting that there have been no service interruptions. XRP withdrawals are operating normally without any disruption, said the Binance spokesperson. It's basically people out there trying to scare you to sell your XRP to make Ripple look bad, to make XRP look bad. But no, girlfriend. I'm bringing you news whether it's good or bad, happy or sad. So no, there are no problems on Binance. It's just dumbasses spreading crap on the internet. When does that ever happen, right? I mean, come on. Isn't the internet the place for truth? Ondo launches tokenized treasuries on XRPL with Ripple's RLUSD. A lot of stable coins used. You notice how many of these players now are dipping heavier and heavier into stables? Ondo Finances launches tokenized U.S. Treasuries product, Ondo Short-Term Government, OUSG. The move enables qualified investors to mint and redeem OUSG directly using Ripple's enterprise-grade stablecoin RLUSD. Oh, okay. By integrating with XPL, Ondo brings real-world yield-generating assets onto a blockchain designed for institutional-grade use, 24/7 access. With over $670 million in total value locked, OUSG is already one of the largest tokenized treasury offerings in the market. Its expansion to XPL gives institution purchasers seamless around-the-clock action to U.S. Treasuries. Oh, okay. Now, going into the old crypto versus price-wise action here, did either of those announcements help out XLM or XRP? Well, let's take a look, because if we go on the price of XLM, no, not really. I mean, we saw some news from some China United States change, right? We got a little bit of agreement. We're still waiting on confirmation, though, from Trump and Xi, all right? They both need to approve the agreement. But right now, Stellar's volume, though, up 14% to 277 million. That's a healthy number for Stellar right there. XLM fans have been waiting to get back to that 30-cent mark, where it has been a battle ever since the 22nd of May. But we've seen that every time XLM gets to that 30-cent mark, there's some sell-off pressure. We saw that happen early May, saw that happen mid-May, and it repeated itself several times since. Now, what have we noticed? We're getting a lot of support north of 25 cents for XLM. I think it's pretty safe to say that that's a pretty solid floor for XLM. Stellar fans, what do you think? Let me know down below. Now, XRP moving similarly as well. Again, XRP moving from the lows that we've seen of, last week? A little spat with Elon and Trump. Volume's just under 3 billion at 2.89 billion. But the Ondo tokenization news is not having a direct effect on price, but just like the Stellar announcement, it's great for the ecosystem, great for relevancy, and great for access to blockchains. You get these products launched on there, you get more people excited, you get people going into this stuff 24/7 rather than traditional systems, which are only open 5 days a week. That's good for the entire ecosystem. Now, zooming out with XRP, what do you notice? Yeah, it's that $2 support level. So, XLM looks pretty solid at the 25-cent, XRP at the $2. But look at how different these two charts look. This is the 1 year for XRP. This is the 1 year for XLM. Very different. So you are starting to see some of these cryptos over time perform a little bit different levels of retail support, a little bit different levels of institutional support, also a little bit different levels of new support. And remember, in crypto, what is it all about? Hot, spicy, naughty, irrelevant, right? You want to stay relevant in the cryptoverse so that players keep wanting to play in your backyard and build on your chains. And that's what today is all about with the Stellar and Ripple news. So Bank of America is doing their own stablecoin thing, saying, yo, friends, it's taking you too long, or yo, friends, we don't want to play with you anymore. The reality is all these banks are all going to launch their own stables, and it's going to be easier for them to move money using the stablecoins. Now, in terms of the Binance announcements with XRP, you see this every so often, honestly. A bunch of negative stuff, and it doesn't matter if it's Ripple or Stellar or Tron or any other chain out there or anything. There's always some sort of negativity that just kind of seems to brew, and then it calms back down. And you're seeing that with XRP and Ripple right now. There's another story that I've been working on, and it has to do with someone just ripping into XRP saying it's not going to go anywhere. I'll probably show that later today or tomorrow. But the good news is you got things happening on the Stellar chain, on the Ripple chain, and remember, it's about being relevant in crypto, and that's the big takeaway from this. Are either of those announcements juicy, face-melting, price action stuff? No, it's not. But yeah, I know, you go on Twitter and everyone's telling you grown men will cry, the train's leaving the station, all that kind of shit, right? No. The reality is this stuff here is great for the chains, great for ecosystem, great for notoriety, and great for staying relevant. Think of today. You're going to have a whole bunch of people talking about Ondo and XRP, which is what? Good for the retail segment, right? You're going to have a whole bunch of people talking about Stellar and PayPal, which is what? Good for the retail segment, because it kind of fires up that user base again. And that's kind of what you need, because lately we've been stuck in the friend zone price-wise. That's why I didn't want to touch on price too much, because it is kind of in the boring zone now for both coins. That being said, good announcements on both sides. We just need something juicy that's going to get us there. The Trump-Xi announcement, we're still waiting on confirmation from both of them. They both have to agree to the terms. That's why we're not seeing the crypto market really roar. We're seeing it kind of slowly build on up, which is fine. If that's how we're going to do it rather than a quicker move, I'm okay with that. But I'm hoping that once we get the actual confirmation from Trump and Xi, that things actually start moving, because the friend zone has been pretty boring, and we've been hanging out in the friend zone now for quite some time. In fact, going back to the charts, we've been basically looking at kind of like a meh price-wise for the last 3 months. And you, me, and a bunch of people on the chat this morning when we did the live stream, we're all saying the same thing. They're like, bro, this is kind of like, price kind of sucks right now. Like, we kind of need more, and I totally get it. So hopefully we get something good that thaws the markets. CPI data was a little hotter than previous month, but nothing too crazy. Jerome Powell's probably not going to cut rates. That would really help the markets out. So, crypto news, good, bad, happy, or sad, delivered 7 days a week. Why? Because I work harder than the post office, and I'm certainly not a governmental employee that takes off weeks at a time. So choo-choo what? Choo-choo biz nachos.